Witchfinders. This is sort of it's not really a can of worms, is it? It's not really. To be fair, it does fall in line with most of this season, sort of an underwhelming story. The problem is that if I would put on my sort of anti-SJW hat here, I would say the problem with this episode is a problem a lot of them have, that they don't really want to commit to the subject matter they're talking about. Well, so let's talk about this one here, which is the witch trials. And instead of really bringing up the fact that, the witch trials were in part a way to just, get rid of people you don't like, and, sort of playing on the prejudices and fear of anyone that's different, it's sort of changed into something else. That it is sort of like a conspiracy for something else. Like it makes use of the alien plot. Like, oh yeah, there actually are aliens up here. That's why everyone thinks they're witches. And the whole time I'm thinking, did we need witches? I mean, did we need aliens? I don't think we needed aliens. We could have honestly just taken the monster of the week out. It's not even really a monster of the week. It doesn't even show up until like the end. It's sort of like the lion thing at the end of The Woman Who Lived. It's just sort of unnecessary. We don't really need it. And it's even more true with this episode. And I think it's well acted. I think everyone turns out. I love to see Mrs. O'Brien from Downton Abbey back. I can't pronounce her name. I can't pronounce her actual name. I don't want to butcher it. And I felt she did a great performance. King James, great. Everyone turned out as great a performance as ever. But the whole time I'm thinking, why couldn't we just commit to, this actually being about the Salem witch trials and the Doctor having to sort of bring in a sort of common sense and the idea of social progress of any form to the story. Like, let's commit to what we want this to be about. And why does the Doctor have to be the one telling other people Yaz's story about the bully and all the other problems? Points for the villain, I guess, to be a woman. We don't really have a lot of female villains in Doctor Who, at least off the top of my head. Now watch when this video is done, I'll think of like 5 or 10. But yeah, this episode had the makings of a good story, like every other episode before it. I think Demons of the Punjab is the best. I don't know. Like, it's getting harder and harder to sort of talk about this season, talk about these episodes, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself, because I know I have. I know I've said the exact same thing pretty much every other episode, and I'm trying to wonder if this is what it's like when the Doctor or the season doesn't gel with you. And I've never really had that experience before. Like, here's the thing, the 10th Doctor isn't really my favorite, neither is the 9th Doctor, but Doctor Who's on, I'll watch it, I'll have fun, I will enjoy most of the story. And I'll always enjoy the Doctor. With this season, I still can't bring myself to do it. I can't look at this person and say, Jodie Whittaker has totally shown me what her Doctor is. She hasn't done that. For the most part, I feel she is just playing any other Doctor. Nothing about what she's done in any of these stories feels like only her Doctor could have done it. I just don't get that. Again, the borrowing of 11, 10, and 5, and the default 4, because, well, everyone borrows from the 4th Doctor except 1 through 3. It just sort of never feels as interesting. And it also felt like really contrived to me that the Doctor sends Ryan, Graham, and Yaz after the monster so she can stay with the girls. It just happens so they can accuse her of being a witch, and then she goes off. That's literally it. That's the only reason it happens, and it felt like we just forced the story to happen a way we needed it to happen, as opposed to letting it happen organically. Like, why couldn't it have been Yaz? Why couldn't Yaz have been accused of being a witch? She's different on every level, and she's... We could have legitimately made this an entire story. We could have made the town a character. We could have heard from everyone else's perspective about the witchcraft, about, the Salem witch trials. I know it's not actually the Salem witch trials, but, bear with me on this idea. Seeing how everyone's fear and prejudices are played off against each other. Some people are like, well, I don't think so, but I'm really afraid maybe it's for the best. Sort of the idea of, freedom versus security thing. Along with the idea, like, if you drown, we're sorry, but at least we know you're not a witch. If you don't drown, well, you're a witch and we'll burn you. It turns out if water doesn't work, heat will. I just don't know. it really does suck that I spend a lot of time complaining about this. I don't really like to go online and complain, although that kind of is, I think, how most people make it on YouTube, complaining. It's sort of an exaggeration, hyperbolization of exactly how that works. But yeah, that's sort of it. And maybe I will, sit down, rewatch the entire season, and say, maybe I've been a bit too hard. But I don't know. I'm still totally bored, for the most part, watching this season of Doctor Who. Like, I come back, I talk to my friends, like, hey, yeah, I saw Doctor Who, that was it. Yeah, I caught it. Knowing that just last season, I was like, dude, you see that episode of Doctor Who? And half the time, I didn't even talk about the Doctor. I'm like Cybermen on a spaceship, the puddle, emojis, like, big on ideas. They just kept me glued to my seat. But yeah, I'm probably going to sum up this season of Doctor Who. I'm calling it now. The episode of Fillmore, Tomorrow's Stall. The character Randall Julian looks at these pictures of marred stalls, and he goes, unemotional, uninspiring, unimportant. And that is how I feel about this season of Doctor Who. And I think if I wasn't doing this on YouTube, I'd probably say, I'm going to sit this season out. But I'm going to sit through this entire thing. I am. Come hell or high water, I'm going to sit through it, and I will wait to be surprised. I will. Maybe the season finale, apparently it's going to tie it all together. I don't know what there is to tie together here, but apparently, if you go by the rumors, there's something to tie together. I don't think there is. But hey, I'll totally be willing to eat my hat. Well, not my hat. I like my hats. But, I'll say, hey, you know what? All comes in together, and this Doctor's actually really good. But for the most part, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should be biting off Chibnall's head or the writing team that was hired by Chibnall. I don't know. But anyway, did you guys like Witchfinder? Was it more of an idea thing? Would you think the Karenites would have been better? Would it have been better as a pure historical? I don't know. Well, actually, I think I've already given my opinion of it. But let me know what you guys thought. And I will catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. May your fandom serve you well.